it all comes down to that one spot of Highway 43. My name is John Mullen. I have been the park manager at Tryon Creek State Natural Area for the last 6 years. Recently got moved off to the west of here, and in those 6 years I've been working along with many others to do the best we can on fish passage issues.
Yeah, I'm Carl Axelson. I'm a volunteer with the Friends of Tryon Creek, and also a volunteer with the Tryon Creek Watershed Council. And when I was the president of the Tryon Creek Watershed Council, and it became known to us that we had a potential opportunity to replace this Highway 43 culvert. It was built in the early 30s, to the best of my knowledge, and I've looked and I haven't found anything. The official program, the project report, it says early 30s. So it's been well over 80 years.
Culverts themselves, just by their nature, are narrow, typically closed in, and reduce connectivity of habitat. And that's not just fish habitat, but that's mammals and amphibians and others. That's like entering a dark cave, and most animals don't want to do that.
Any single thing that happens anywhere in a watershed affects the entire watershed. So it's 400 feet, maybe 50 feet on either side. I think one of the proposals takes a direct impact on 0.4 acres. But this is a 4,200 acre watershed. And when you open up a watershed, even by doing work on 400 feet, you affect the entire 4,200 acres.
We have been looking to see how we could get this project funded. Back in, I believe, 2007 or so, there was an assessment done by multiple partners, and that came up with some conceptual designs. And then since that, more recently, due to the Tryon Creek Watershed Council, and especially the fellow by the name of Carl Axelson, really, as a community activist, really got started by connecting partners again, bringing some of those original partners from 2007 together, and really wanted to motivate this thing. We had an assessment, a second assessment done by Oregon Department of Transportation. They came up with a price tag of around $30 million to remove the culvert and replace it with a bridge structure. And that would really make it fish passage and wildlife passage friendly.
The project started under the Portland Harbor Superfund project, which is enormously political, enormously expensive, very complicated. It's been decades when really nothing's happened.
Meanwhile, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers put together a package of projects in the area as part of the Lower Willamette Restoration suite of projects, and this was one of them.
Another process was occurring that we really didn't know about, and that's what we can talk about, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers' interest in this thing. The phrase that John Mullen and I used is we've changed horses in midstream.
They also did an assessment of the expense, and their number was quite a bit different than ODOT's. Oregon Department of Transportation had $30 million. The U.S. Army Corps Engineer puts the figure at around $11 million. One of the things, animal species that's really being reduced as of late is the Pacific lamprey, and this has got great habitat for lamprey. So there's a particular example by opening this up, that the potential for bringing the diversity of this stream system, into raising that diversity in a big way, by opening this thing up, you could have an example that really would be a national example. There's so much life here now, but it would really bring it to a whole different scale of life.
Simply, there is an emotional impact that you end up in an urban watershed with even if it's a few dozen spawning coho. That's a terrific morale booster for the people that have worked, but even the people that just live here. If you believe, like I do, that all living things deserve a good life, well, that's the big impact. If we can make this habitable again for species that can't come here now, can't beat it.